Okay, I'm hoping sound works. I have no idea if it does. I tried to make a test run, but that didn't work out. Um, anyway, these are the two sketches I did yesterday, and I'm quite pleased with the first one. I thought about and made a plan what to do before I started, and that actually worked out within the 30-minute time limit. And I was very confused about that. Like, what? I actually got to do everything that I thought I was going to do in half an hour? Um, there's plenty of ways of how this could be improved, and I'm very tempted to work this over some more at some point and possibly even turn it into a lino cut. Something about this tells me it wants to be a lino cut. I'm not entirely pleased with how the general composition turned out. Should be a bit more space here, a bit less space here maybe, but that's something that if I turn it into a lino cut, I could change. Cannot really change it on this piece of paper anymore though, even if I work it over. I'm not a great fan even of the muted greens. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all the green that all these chicken are running around in. Which is good for them, but don't like that in my images. So in some ways, like in terms of color, I like the second one a lot better. But in terms of form, I like the first one better. I could have taken down this dark shape a little bit more to make it to unify the whole body of the chicken, to emphasize the major form of the chicken as a whole rather than just the wing. But yeah, that's for another time. And with the second one, yeah, I'm pleased with the colors. I'm pleased with the overall composition through. I'm not satisfied with how the form of the comb is coming out, or rather not coming out. Like this whole area here, what's going on there is very unclear in the image. And I know how I could make that very present in an ink drawing. I might be able to do it if I work bigger. This one actually kind of wants to be an oil painting, I feel like. It's a bit not super useful that these sketches have started telling me what they want to be instead of just sketches. And one is going like, oh, I want to be bigger. And the other is going like, oh, I want to be a lino cut. And the next one's going like, oh, I want to be an oil painting. And I'm like, but I'm not doing any of that right now. I'm just doing gouache sketches, small gouache sketches. And would also be more useful if they were all saying the same thing, like, oh, we all want to be lino cuts. And I could be like, okay, next thing I'm doing will be lino cuts. But no, everybody wants to be something different. Something different. Anyway, those are the ones that I did yesterday. And the one that I'm going to do today, or it's going to be this like very high, narrow thing. It's going to be a head, a very red head. And yeah, I think heads are just the most fun part of the chicken to paint. So I'll get to focus on skin flaps a bit more. Maybe I can work out better how to portray the skin flaps than here. Could have been more contrast in this fold, for example. And there's an edge here that I did not figure out a good way to portray other edges here that are basically lost that should not have been lost. The skin flaps in the one that I'm doing today are a bit different. They're not as thick. It's not as close up, not quite. It's in profile rather than from the front. We're exactly the same problems. And I will also have to think a bit about the background. But yeah. So, going to get started on this and start the timer now. In terms of drawing, it's not coming entirely easy. Like, here's the front of the face. The light is coming from the right, so the left edge is all going to be darker. I should simplify this more, but I'm not sure how to. What is a good way to simplify skin flaps? And this is the beak. And it goes roughly here. Chicken, they always look annoyed. It's kind of glorious. Always annoyed. Here is a very dark. Okay, the second, like, beak, chin flap, skin flap thingy is, it has a bit of a highlight here, and I'm going to take that, or light at all, and I'm going to take that away just for simplicity's sake. I'm just going to pretend that it's not there. So I can make this simple shape here. Now there's still a dark outline kind of, but it's really an edge of that skin flap. And this is where the eye goes in. Like the cave for the eye. What was it called? Eye socket and not eye cave. It's much more what it feels like. Around the eye. Okay, I will do lines, but they're actually just very thin, dark shapes that are actually there. They're not outlines, they're just... There are so many ways in which these eyes are not actually round. They're not actual circles, but they kind of look as if they were. And that leads me astray a lot. Like, I just fall for the almost circliness. And I've messed up the proportions of the face. But that's fine because it's just a chicken and nobody will notice. Okay, I'm guessing I will be busy with the shadow shapes of this, like just this monochrome thing that I'm doing right now for all of the first 15 minutes. And then I will probably put a big red blob over it. And then I will see how much time I have left. Okay, the head is getting a bit smaller than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. Okay, here this is darkness is actually the darkness of the background. Highest point is just about here. And I'm deciding that all of this is dark. I'm losing time by filling it in, which I shouldn't be doing, but I don't want to move on until this is. So I think the front I will leave light. Here, and then here, and then here. Ink didn't dry yet. So anything else that should be dark? These shadow shapes, I could portray the form a bit better, or even a lot better. But also if I focus on that now, I'll lose a lot of time. Okay. So we're 12 minutes in. I'm going to do the big, giant red blob. But for the red blob, first I have to mix the red blob. It's going to be take some time. At least a little bit of time. Probably way more time than I wanted to take. La la la. Purplish red blob. And I'm going to put the red also over the eye. Yeah. Ah! Ugh, that was not supposed to happen. Lucky me that I only went on the tape. Yeah, so. Big red blob. This is all red blob territory. Okay, first 15 minutes over, starting the second 15-minute timer. Here I'm tempted to already add a bit of white. Okay, goes like. Ah, I forgot some of the dark shapes. Damn it. Oh. So then. Maybe it would be better to be doing this with a smaller brush, but it's somehow more fun and the brush strokes come out mostly nicer when I'm using the bigger one. Except when I mess it up completely, which of course might happen. We'll see. Can do more damage all at once with a bigger brush. "12 minutes left." Okay. Now I'm going to make the body of the chicken white, as it is actually in the reference, and the rest is white, a bit darker than the body of the chicken. And I hope that by the time I'm done with all of that, the red blob will have dried so that I can work over it, and there will still be time left so that I can do other things. We'll see. This would go faster if I had. And wait, where are those? No. I think I've lost at least a minute now to just kind of faffing about looking for the white, and that's how it is. And this brush is too red and my water too pink. Again, that's how it is. This here, I think, is the ear or equivalent of the ear, hearing organ. Here, it goes. This is indeed already dry, so I can just. If I had more time, I would be doing this much more subtly with a smaller brush, finer brush, tinier brush strokes, but not today. Seven minutes left. Okay, at 3 minutes, I think I should definitely get started on the details if I want to actually get any details in. Which might not work out in this case. All those shadow shapes need to be reinforced, and the eye put in, and the beak needs to be, or should be, need to be, but should be. Ideally, I want the beak to be yellow. But I also want the whole background to be covered. And I want the background to work with the foreground in a certain way. 5 minutes left. I'm just being brutal because I'm running out of time. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay, now make big yellow, then make I, and then I will be out of time. Big yellow. Two minutes and 10 seconds. I should not be fiddling with the beak, and I will do it anyway. Yeah, so much more to do. Now the eye has very similar. It's also red, but it's much more orange red. The skin first, but I want to do the shadow shapes and the skin first. Yes, time's over. Give myself another extra 15 minutes. I hope I'm not going to use them all up. But